All right, good, thank you. Okay, so we're up to the Mishnah. We already did part of Dalet Amud Aleph. Right. So now we're up to the Mishnah, a little more than halfway down. Yeah. So it says, Hareini kishimshan. If a guy makes a nazir, he says, I'm a nazir like Shimshon, kiben manoyach. Shimshon, who was the son of Manoyach, kibal Delila. He was like the Baal of Delila, right? Kimisha akar dalseis Aza, or he says like somebody who uprooted the walls of Aza, which is the doors of Aza, which is what Shimshon did. Kimisha nakru plishtem es einav, or like the person who a nazir, like the person whose eyes were knocked out by the plishtim. Hareza nazir Shimshon, then he's a nazir. He's considered nazir Shimshon. So basically, what the Mishnah is saying is that he needs to say three things. He's saying that he's like Shimshon, the son of Manoyach, the husband of Delila, or he could say that like he's like Shimshon, whose eyes were knocked out, or that he knocked down the walls, right? So all those will make him into a Nazir Shimshon. We'll see later what exactly is Nazir Shimshon. But anyway, so the Gemara says, Lamili lemisna kol halon. Why does he have to say all of these things? Why can't he just say that he's making a neder, like he's making a Nazir Shimshon? So my answer is if he would just say, I'm like Shimshon, Havamina Shimshon, Achrina, there's another Shimshon, right? Meaning he didn't want to say he's like Shimshon, what do you call it? Shimshon, I don't know what was his name, Shimshon Nazir, whatever he was called. He's like Shimshon, the guy who's a gvir. Like I want to be like Shimshon, who's a gvir.
Does that mean anything if he says that?
No, it doesn't mean anything. He's just saying like I'm inspired. I want to be like Shimshon. Right?
Shimshon Agibor.
Shimshon Agibor, right? That's what
I was going to say that's very close. Gibor,
Gvir, Gibor, yeah, Gvir is a Gibor. Okay, but very good.
Not necessarily synonymous. Not necessarily.
Yeah, that's true. No, he stopped saying. He got inspired. He listened to a 2-minute inspiration WhatsApp, and the guy's name was Shimshon. He said, I want to be like Shimshon. So that's right. We can't say he's like a Shimshon that he's a Nazir. He says, no, I was like Shimshon on the WhatsApp. Right? So Kamash Malonka ben Manoyach. So that's what he says. No, Shimshon ben Manoyach. Okay. So why isn't that enough? That's close enough. Shimshon, the son of Manoyach. How many Shimshons, the sons of Manoyach, are there? V'tanake ben Manoyach. And if he just said ben Manoyach, maybe Havamina Ika de Miskari Hachi. There's somebody out there who's called Shimshon ben Manoyach. And maybe he doesn't mean to become a Nazir. K'mashalam Kibal Delila, like the husband of Delila. And then Ukamisha Nakru Plishtim es Einav, and like somebody who the Plishtim knocked out his eyes. So meaning we want to make it, he has to make it in a way that it's not deniable. Right? It's not deniable that he means Shimshon, and he means the Nazirus that Shimshon did. Okay? Fine. So that's that plain and pashut. Next Mishnah. Ma bein Nazir oilun le Nazir Shimshon. Oh, so what's the difference between a forever Nazir and a like friends forever, BFF or something like Nazir forever. I'm an NF, right? So ma bein Nazir oilun le Nazir Shimshon. What's the difference between a Nazir that's forever and Nazir Shimshon? It's a Nazir oilam. So somebody who's a Nazir forever. It's very interesting. It has a kula and a chumrah. He's a Nazir forever. Right, till he dies. Hichbid Sairi, if his hair gets heavy, which means he has too much hair, hence the haircut. Yeah, Makel Bitar, so a Makel with a razor. It's interesting. It sounds like only with a razor, not a scissors. Umevi Shalosh Behemus, and when he wants to take a haircut, so basically his Nazirah stays, but he can be Makel to cut his hair when it's long, but he has to bring the 3 korbanos, the 3 behemoths first. Right? Because he's cutting his hair. Vim nitva, maybe korban tuma, and if he becomes tummy, then he has to bring a korban tuma. Right? That's a long-term forever nazir. Nazir Shimshon, but a nazir Shimshon, hichbet sari ain't a mekel. Nazir Shimshon can never cut his hair, meaning, but he's also forever. Vim nitma ain't a maybe korban tuma, and if he becomes tummy, he does not have to bring a korban tuma. Right? So it's very interesting. Nazir, Olam, and Nazir Shimshon are the same, meaning they're both forever. They're forever. That there's two differences. A Nazir Olam, who's not a Nazir Shimshon, can take a haircut when it gets too heavy. Right? He can take a haircut when it gets too heavy, but he has to bring the korbanos first. Right? And he cannot become tummy. A Nazir Shimshon can never take a haircut, but he's allowed to become tummy, which we're going to see soon what exactly that means, because in the Mishnah it sounds like not. Right? Yeah, so fine. So that's the Mishnah. So Gemara says, Nazir Olam man tocha shmei. Who said anything about Nazir Olam? All of a sudden the Mishnah starts talking about Nazir Olam and never even told us anything about Nazir Olam. Mishnah starts with, what's the difference between Nazir Olam and Nazir Shimshon? Who said anything about Nazir Olam? Where's it coming from? Oh, so then we get a freebie. Issur mechsa. So there was something missing. If a guy says he's a Nazir Olam, Hareze Nazir, then he's a Nazir. I mean, the guy says, I'm a Nazir forever. So then he's a Nazir. Right? Ma bein Nazir Olam and Nazir Shimshon. What's the difference between a Nazir Olam and Nazir Shimshon? Nazir Olam, hichbit sayroi. His hair gets heavy, make up a tar. He's allowed to cut it with a razor. Or maybe shalosh behemoths, but he has to bring the 3 behemoths. Bim nitma, and if he becomes tummy, maybe korban tummy, brings a korban tummy. Nazir Shimshon, right? This is just a repeat. Hichbit sayroi, ain't a make up a tar. If his hair gets heavy, we're not make up with a what do you call it? With a razor. On Toma Beis, korban Toma, and he does not bring a korban Toma. Oh, so what does it sound like? It sounds like a Nazir Shimshon doesn't, if he becomes Tomei, he does not have to bring a korban Toma. Mashma, it's mashma that he's not allowed to become Tomei. Right? So the Gemara is going to say, korban hu deloi maisi. We're on the top line now. Korban hu deloi maisi. Ava Nazirus chayla alei. He doesn't bring a korban, but he's going to have Nazirus, meaning, and he cannot touch somebody who's tamei. So the Gemara says, Mani mas nisan. Who's our Mishnah? Loi Rabbi Yehuda, Loi Rabbi Shimon. Then if that's the case, our Mishnah does not fit, not with Rabbi Yehuda's opinion and not with Rabbi Shimon's opinion. The Tanya, Rabbi Yehuda, Aimer, Nazir Shimshon, mutter l'tamei l'meson. Nazir Shimshon is mutter to become tamei to mason. So you see, straight out, if you become a Nazir Shimshon, there is no issur to become tamei. Shekain watzinu, the Shimshon shenitma. We see it from Shimshon that he became tamei. That's at the bottom of the Amid. So that's Shita's Rabbi Yehuda that a Nazir Shimshon can become tamei. Shimon Aimer, Ha'aimer Nazir Shimshon, lo yamar klum. If guy says he's a Nazir Shimshon, he's not a Nazir at all. Saying Nazir Shimshon is nothing. Shalom watzinu b'Shimshon, sheyasas Naziris mipiv. We don't see from Shimshon that it ever came out of his mouth that he's a Nazir. Right? In Shoftim, in the Parshias, in the Prokim of Shimshon, it doesn't say anywhere that he accepted on himself. Right? It doesn't say anywhere. So how can you say that a guy says on himself that he's a Nazir, that he's the Nazir Shimshon, that's something? Right? So basically, according to what he's saying,
because it has to be accepted the same way that he accepted it.
Yeah. We're going to see in the Gemara now, because you can't just say things. You can't. I know we're very good at just saying things. I know I'm very good at that. But I'm saying you can't just make lashonos up. It has to have some basis in it. We're going to see as the Gemara is going to discuss it.
But after Shimshon, now I can say I want to be like Shimshon. I don't care how he got to be a Nazir. I want to be a Nazir like Shimshon was a Nazir. He was a Nazir. That's a fact. How he got to be a Nazir, who cares?
Right. So right. So now we're going to see.
He was a Nazir from birth. You can't become a Nazir from birth.
What do you mean we can't make things up?
Yeah, just coming off
we
the
just
Durham.
finished the Durham.
Right, just coming off the Durham. I was just saying that. I'm telling you, just coming off the Durham. If you say you want to be like Shimshon, why is that not a neder?
No, because the question, it has to fit into we're going to have a repeat of Daf in the Durham right now, but which I can't say I remembered. But after I looked at it for a while, it may have a little bit sunk in, right?
Because you were saying this when you're 40 years old. He was a Nazir for 40 years already. So you can't be a Nazir like Shimshon.
What do you call it? Yeah, but
you could be a Nazir Oilam maybe, because he's starting from whenever you start for the next 120 years, but not a Nazir Shimshon.
Yeah, the Gemara
That's what I
doesn't
say, but who knows I'm not right. What?
If I want Ben this, Ben that, You are a Nazir Shimshon, no?
I don't know.
No,
We
one
didn't
second.
finish, we didn't finish the Gemara yet.
Yeah, let's wait till we do the next Gemara because we'll see exactly what it is. Meaning, it's basically, I know we say this all the time. It's going to be a technical reason why it may not work to say Nazir Shimshon, right? But we'll get to it. So then Gemara says money. So then who's the Tan of our Mishnah? Again, Rabbi Yehuda, Hamar Afilu Lechatchila. Again, our Mishnah uses a lashon that if he becomes Tameh, he doesn't have to bring the korban. So who is it? If it's Rabbi Yehuda holds he could become Tameh Lechatchila, he doesn't have to bring the korban. Umasnisan Katani Im Nitma. But the Mishnah says if he becomes Tameh, so that can't be Rabbi Yehuda, because Rabbi Yehuda holds he can Lechatchila become Tameh. And he Reb Shimon, if it's Reb Shimon, Hamar Lechayla Le Nazirus Klal. Reb Shimon says you're not even a Nazir at all if you say Nazir Shimshon. So who's our Mishnah? So Gemara says La'ilam Rabbi Yehuda. Now our Mishnah is Rabbi Yehuda. Ba'aydi the Katani Gabi Nazir Olam. And since we said by Nazir Olam, meaning the Nazir that's forever, that's not Nazir Shimshon, Im Nitma, it says if he becomes Tameh, he has to bring the korban. So Tananami Gabi Nazir Shimshon, Im Nitma. If he becomes Tameh, he doesn't have to bring korbanos. But really the truth is that Nazir Shimshon could become Tameh L'chatchila. Right? He doesn't have to. He does not have to. He doesn't even have to avoid a levaya. He could become a tameh. He can become tameh l'chatchila. So basically, what it's saying is we want to align the Mishnah, the terminology in the Mishnah. So therefore, we say im nitma, right? But it doesn't mean im nitma. It means he can become tameh. Which again, I never understood. So because you want to make a terminal, you want to make a Mishnah aligned with its terminology, then you're going to change something that might change the pshat, right? You're going to do, I understand, because you want the Mishnah to be aligned, so you're going to change pshat. Okay, I don't know. Fine. So whatever it is, we have a machlokes. We don't
always do that. We don't always try to.
Yeah, we always do it. We always do it, and I always don't understand it.
Oh, okay.
Which means my brain hasn't gotten any better, which I tell you. almost halfway through Shas, I still don't get it. What should I do? I don't know. Got to daven. We got to daven. Maybe I need a little Florida for my brain. Haven't had Florida in a while.
I don't know. Right now, there's not
There
much
you go,
room.
Ray.
Right now, there's not much
Lancaster's a
room.
drop closer, but you're not there yet.
No, Lancaster ain't Florida. Yeah. But it took me the same length to drive to Lancaster as it would take to fly to Florida, Agav. With security and everything. But okay. Lema, I'm not complaining, Chas v'shalom. Lema, the plug the Dahani Tanoi Kamiflagi. Let's say these machlaikis.
Yeah, your gas and tolls are more expensive.
That's true. That is true. Right? So Lema, the plug the Dahani Tanoi Kamiflagi. Let's say the machlaikis Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon, whether a guy becomes whether Nazir Shimshon makes a Nazir, is a machlekes tanaim to Tanan. And now here's where we're going to get into your question, though. The Tanan, harei like it b'chor. If a guy says, this food is assur to me like a b'chor, right? A b'chor we know is assur. B'chor goes to the kohen, right? So a guy says, harei like it b'chor. This food, it's to me like a b'chor, right? So Rabbi Yaakov says issur. Rabbi Yaakov says that it's assur. Rabbi Yossi matir. Rabbi Yossi says it's mutter. Right? Now, what's the pshat in this machlok is why he said that this loaf of bread or whatever food, usually means a kikar, right? But this loaf of bread is assur to me the way a bechor is assur to me. Why shouldn't that be assur? Right? So the pshat is, the machlok is that something that becomes assur automatically cannot be used as a nether. Meaning, when a person makes a nether, like I'd say this water bottle, let's say, would be assur to me, right? So now I made this water bottle assur, right? So if I want to say that this water bottle is assur to me, the same way a korban is, somebody made a korban assur. That's because there was human intervention that's made that thing assur. But if it's something that's assur min hashamayim, then that you can't, right? Meaning if something's assur min hashamayim, a nether is you making something assur that's mutter to you, right? Something's mutter to you, you're making it assur. So therefore, when you're using a something else to describe what you want to make assur to you, it also has to fit into those same parameters, which is the thing has to be made assur by a human. That's a machlokes, right? Meaning, again, if I say this bottle of water is like a korban I want it to be like a korban that my friend just separated for a chatos. Okay, so my friend is the one that made that korban chatos. He made it. So I'm making this water assur the same way he made a korban, the animal assur. Right? But to say that I'm making this water bottle assur like a bechar, but nobody made that bechar assur. That bechar was made assur from birth. Right? Yeah, we understand what it's saying. So Mamela, Shimshon, right? Like Rabanan was saying, Shimshon was assur from birth. So do we say that Shimshon saying that you're a Nazir like Shimshon doesn't work because he was a Nazir from birth? You have to say like you were a Nazir like the one that was 150 years ago. He made himself into a Nazir. So maybe it's the same machlokes. So let's see. So my love is it not pshat? Rabbi Yehuda saw like Rabbi Yaakov. Rabbi Yehuda holds like Rabbi Yaakov Damar Leibein Davar Hanida. Rabbi Yaakov doesn't hold of this chumrah. You can use anything that's assur. You could say anything that's assur. Uri, I didn't mean it serious, but okay. Yeah. Shimon saw like Rabbi Yossi. Shimon says like Rabbi Yossi, the Amar bein and Davar Hanida. You need to have something that can become assur from a neder. Meaning it can't be something that's assur naturally and was assur by itself. You have to make a neder based on something that somebody else is making assur. So we're thinking the same thing with Shimshon, right? So we say, like the Kulei Alma, Beina Davar Hanida. Everybody holds that in order to make a neder, it has to be on something that you make assur. B'shani Gabi Bechar. So okay, so then why is Bechar a machlokes? T'chsiv bei lashem. By Bechar, it says ki ish ki yidor neder lashem ayishur shur lesar isal nashal echad v'bechal yatzmim yaseh. Right. So the rabbi says a Bechar. So what it's saying is that it's coming to include Bechar. Right. So the lashem is coming to say that Bechar is well, according to one shita, to make a neder, normally you would not be able to make a neder with Bechar because it was assur in the first place. But the Hashem comes to tell you that if you say that this water bottle is assur to me like a Bechar, at least according to one opinion, it works. Okay, for Rabbi Yossi, right? And Rabbi Yossi who disagrees, what does he do with Lashem? He says that you can make a neder. I can make this water bottle assur like a chatas and a asham. Right? Meaning, I can't make it also for Bechar. If I say this water, okay, now it comes out of the machlokes between Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbi Yossi. Is that according to Rabbi Yaakov, if I say this water bottle is like a Bechar, it becomes assur. If I say this water bottle is like a chatas and an asham, it's mutter. And according to Rabbi Yossi, it's the opposite. If I say that this water bottle is a chatas and an asham, it becomes assur. If I say it's like a Bechar, it does not become assur. Right? So then the Gemara asks the obvious question: where do you see that we're coming to exclude one and include the other? I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to it, right? Why are you saying Lashem is coming for chatas and asham and not for Bechar, right? So Gemara answers, Marbani chatas v'asham shekain matfisin beneder, because chatas and asham is like a neder, meaning a person is chayiv to bring a chatas and asham if he does something wrong, but he has to separate the animal. He has to decide which animal. So that's similar to making a neder. A Bechar, that firstborn becomes a Bechar no matter what, right? That there's no human intervention there whatsoever. So therefore, we say that a Bechar you cannot make something a neder basing it on Bechar. But for Chatas and Asham, you can.
What do you mean he has to separate it? He doesn't have to separate it. He goes to Yerushalayim to a cattle dealer and buys an animal. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't have to carry a sheep from Sky.
No, but he still has to take an animal that was mutter and he makes it into a chatas and a asham. He has to appoint an animal. A Bechar is born kiddush.
He buys it in the shuk and he works to the Beis hamikdash with it.
And then he makes
He didn't appoint anything.
Sure he did.
To the kohen.
Before it was assur, that animal is perfectly mutter. Before this guy comes along and makes it into a chatas, that animal is perfectly mutter. Anybody could eat it, right? Then this guy comes along and makes it into his chatas. It's the same thing. So then neder is the same thing. I have this water bottle. It's mutter. Now I make a neder that I'm not eating it, drinking it. So then that's the same. That's sort of the same thing. Mashenkin a Bechar, the second it's born has kedusha. Right? They're saying there's a difference between Bechar and Chatas Asham. Chatas and Asham, when an animal is born, He doesn't know he's going to be a chatas and asham. A human has to make it into a chatas and asham. Mashenke b'chor not. So b'chor is not similar at all to neder. That's what it's saying. But Reb Yaakov, Amar Allah, b'chor nami matfisa b'neder. Who a b'chor also is considered like a neder. Why? There's a very interesting shita. The Tanya shall Beis Rabbeinu Amru. In Beis Rebbe, they said, let's say a guy taka has a b'chor that's born to his flock. Flock is not the right word, is it? Flock? Is flock only birds? Flock is flock. Okay, not
Flock,
birds.
flock is also sheep.
Flock is sheep. Is sheep. Okay, but it's
Or herd.
okay.
A herd.
Yeah. You still have to be makdish it. According to Rebbe, even though this thing has kedusha, you still have to announce that it's hektish. Shenemar hazocher taktish. The zocher, you should make it hektish. So you see that even a bechor needs somebody to make it into hektish, which is very interesting shita. Because Rabbi Yossi comes right back and says, Rabbi Yossi, the mitzvah lakdisha. Yes, there might be a mitzvah to be makdish it, but Eloi makdish le miloi kaddish. I mean, and if the guy doesn't make it hektish, you could go eat the bechor. You can't eat the bechor, so it's hektish naturally. So memela, it's not the equivalent of chatas and noshim. Right? So it comes out as a very interesting machlokes between these two shitas, right? Meaning, how strong does a neder have to be similar to something that was mutter before it became assur? Right. So we're saying one sheet is saying that that making this water bottle again as assur like a bechor is a problem because a bechor still can be announced, still has to be announced as hektish, and the other one says no, it's not. It's automatically hektish even without you saying it's the only thing that would be more similar to would be chatas and ashur. Fine. Okay, so then the Gemara continues, Gabi Nazir, Nami Haksiv Lashem, but Nazir also says Lashem. Right? It says Ki Yafli Lindor Neder Nazir Lahazir Lashem. So maybe that should also say that a Nazir can you can make, even if a guy says he's becoming a Nazir like Shimshon, that should work. So my answer is only look at the Tanya. No, you need it for this, like we learned in this price. So until this story, I didn't remember the Gemara and the Dharma. After this story, I remembered. Right? So R Shimon atzadik. I never ate an asham from a Nazir who was tameh. Right? Because he was afraid that maybe the Nazir had charata about being a Nazir, and he brought his korban was not a legitimate korban, and therefore it was puzzle. So therefore he never had it. Chutz mi adam echad, except for one person. He came to me from the south. Yifei nayim, he had good eyes, nice eyes, v'toiv roi, and he looked good. The kezayis of seduras like tiltalim, and again his hair was like curly, right? Taltalim, that's what you were saying yesterday, Avi. Right, Taltalim. This one is with the tough, right? So he had nice hair. Amarti like what? Why are you destroying this beautiful hair? Amarli said to me, Raya, Yisi, Lavi Beiri. I was a shepherd for my father in the city. And I went to get water. And then I saw my face in the water, my reflection. Right? This is why you're not allowed to daven in front of a mirror. Right? Although some of us maybe should daven in front of a mirror, and then maybe we'll daven better. But okay, but that So, anyways, he saw his reflection in the water. And then my Yetzirah became right. And we heard many times in Orchot Tzadikim. The more gaiva you have, that's when you start getting into issur. So I said, I'm a handsome guy who and that wanted to make me knock me out of the world by doing things that are not proper. So Amarti Lai, I told my Yetzirah, Reika, empty one. Why are you getting all gaiva in the world that's not yours? At the end, everybody from this world is going to end up being worms and what do you call talam? I don't know, bugs, worms, whatever. That's where everybody from this world's ended. So why are you getting involved with that and ruining for me? Avaida, which is a lashon of a shvua, right? Like by the Avaida, Beis hamikdash, I'm going to shave my head for Shemayim. So then that was his story. That's why he became a Nazir. So Shimon HaTzadik, understood that this was a legitimate Nazirus. So even a Shaktiv al Rosh, this is Shimon HaTzadik saying, I stood up and I kissed him on his head, and Amarti Lai, and I told him, there should be more Nazirim like you in Klal Yisrael. Right, and a person wants to make becomes a nezer la Hashem, meaning you did it, right? If somebody's legitimately becoming a nazir la Hashem, so therefore he taka becomes, then that's the type of nazirim that we should have, right?
Good meister for the yeshivish world. This.
You know what I see with the Ger Rebbe's brother-in-law? It was his brother-in-law. In the Milchama. The Ger Rebbe's brother-in-law in Milchama, he had never looked in, you said about seeing in the mirror, he didn't know what he looked like. He never saw himself, he never looked in the mirror his whole life. He didn't know what he looked like. And when Yamach Shimon were taking them out to go to the train, whatever it was, he saw there was a broken glass or whatever, and he saw himself in the mirror. And he says, wow, look at this Yid. What a hadras panim on this Yid. He didn't know it was himself.
Right, so they halavai, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, halavai by all of us.
So we say about you, Aaron.
Yeah, well, so it shows you, so you agree with me how stupid you are, yeah.
Gershon, what do you want to say?
Hold on,
Right,
wait,
that wasn't me. I didn't say that.
wait, Scott, and that's what you get for complimenting Aaron Horowitz.
Go ahead, Gershon, what do you want to say?
I was going to say that this is a good meister for the yeshivish world. Kohen Gadol saw, Shimon saw this guy with really long hair walk into the Beis hamikdash, and the first thing he asks him is, "Why are you cutting it?" Keep it long.
You mean it's fakir, like, well, why are you cutting it? You should have it.
Yeah.
I hear that's an interesting assur. I can't say I looked at it that I was understanding it that way. Okay, what time is Lichbenchen?
48.
Okay, so we'll stop here. We'll stop here. So if the Florida's later.
48 in Muncie, 49 in Far Rockaway.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll stop here.
I guess I didn't read the same newspaper as you.
I don't read newspapers. Sorry.
Well,
okay, I'm just gonna read over the Chazara.
Good Shabbos, everybody.
Good Shabbos. So I'll just for those
Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos. If you just keep logging off, I'll stop reading the Chazara. Anyways, so we said in the Mishnah.
I got plenty of time.
There you go. Well, so in the Mishnah we said that there's two types of Nazirus. There's Nazirus Shimshon and Nazirus forever. Right? Nazirus Shimshon is that you become Tameh. You can become Tameh, but you're never allowed to take a haircut. And Nazirus Olam is that you're allowed to take a haircut, but you're not allowed to become Tameh. Then we said, did I jump? I went to the second Mishnah before the first Mishnah. Right? Yeah, the first Mishnah was that if you want to become a Nazir like Shimshon, you have to say Shimshon, Ben Manoyach, Ben Delila, and all that, right? And then you become. So we said, why do you need all three? Because otherwise you might think that a guy, he just wants to imitate Shimshon. And Shimshon, the son of Manoyach, the wife of Delila, fine. Next Mishnah, like I just said, the difference between a Nazir that's forever Nazir Shimshon. And we said there's something missing from the Mishnah, so that's what it is. So on to Beis, we said machlokes, if there's even such a thing as Nazir Shimshon, and if there is such a thing, can he become Tameh or not? We wanted to say our Mishnah is like Rabbi Yehuda, that he becomes Tameh, but the reason why it just says if he becomes Tameh is just to tell you, because we wanted the Mishnah to be aligned, right? Then we wanted to say that the machlokes of whether a guy saying that he's like Shimshon becomes a Nazir is based on the machlokes over whether, in order to make a neder, does it have to be on something that a human made assur? Meaning, if I want to say that water bottle is assur, like a bechar, right? So then that maybe doesn't work, because a bechar is assur, automatic, not from a human. Mashenke in a chatas and a asham is somebody has to make it assur. So we said that the machlokes is not based on that, but we do have a machlokes whether you can say something is assur for that, or something is becomes a neder by by Bechar or for Chatas and Usher. And then we said, okay, what's the extra Lashem for by Nazir, to say that if there's a legitimate Nazir, like the story with this guy, then he's a legitimate Nazir. And that's basically that daf. All right. We should only hear Basuras Taivas, and Shabbos should bring all refuahs and yeshuas and all that, and everybody should enjoy. All right.
Can I ask Olam a favor? My father's yard site is Shabbos. Bye.
You need me to say
God? Make a bracha or something for Shmuel ben Ramesh Aaron.
You can when you have yard site this Shabbos?
Yeah, tonight.
You gonna make it to shul? You want somebody to say a kaddish?
Me to say kaddish for you?
Not for you. Not for you. Kaddish.
Preferably for my father, but in my place.
You need me to say kaddish? I'll do it.
Yeah, please.
Okay, there you go. I would say Gershon, I would say a kaddish for you, but it's all going to be Stein saying Yesh Merav. I'm not so sure your father wants that.
Why not?
I'm kidding around. Anyway.
He'll take the sober ones and the drunk ones.
There you go.